Hello, greetings, beautiful earthlings. My name is Star. If you are new here, I don't know how you found me, but I am super grateful to have you. And if you are returning, y'all the real MVP, you already know. I know it's been a long time since I've seen you guys, friends. How are you? Actually, let's have a fun little let's discuss video because I am sick of reviews. I don't know about you, but there's only so many times I can review a deck before I get super bored. And I'm not trying to be bored with my channel. I want to keep going. Reviews are just an unfortunate part of something that I have to do because I get so many decks and it's unfair to you guys not to review them. But today I wanted to talk about a concept which we all know and love, which is called waiting. Humans hate to hear patience. It's my favorite thing in a reading when the message is patience. And I'm like, I know I am not the person to deliver this message because nobody likes to hear that they need to wait, right? I see this all day at work. I'm like, you have to wait for the pin pad to get ready for you, right? Or you have to wait while the computer's loading, and people just get so mad. They're like, why do I have to wait? And it's like, that's just part of life, is waiting. And for some reason, this popped up into my head. I was just having me a nice little time hanging out in my bed listening to music, and I heard waiting really fucking loud. And then I got the image of the Hermit and the Hanged Man together. Forgot all about it, right? Because that could be anything. And then I was doing a little reading for myself and I was pulling cards. What do you know? The Hermit and the Hanged Man came out together. And it made me think about that video that I had done where I was comparing the duo of the High Priestess and the Empress to other duos, right? And I was like, I do this a lot now that I have that in my brain of seeing tarot pairs. And this idea is just, especially if you were to get it in this way, right? That would just be stop, dead stop. You need to stop. You need to stop. So I wanted to have a little bit of a discussion about the cards that I think represent the idea of waiting in the tarot. So we're gonna look at the minors first and then the majors after, because there's only 3 majors, but I feel like the majors have more of a concept to speak about. So if we're looking through the suits, I don't feel the suit of water has any waiting in it. And the reason that I say that is because water, at least as a concept in the tarot, seems to be always moving. Even in something such as the 4 of Cups, it still seems to be moving, because even if that person was sitting there saying, I don't want it, I don't want it, they're moving towards some type of decision in that instance, right? What I'm talking about in the form of waiting is literally just divine intervention in the form of you need to wait. There is no other option in this instance. You need to wait. And clearly, when it comes to the minors, there's movement. There has to be movement. You can't get to the majors without the movement of the minors, right? I understand that. But I think it's starting to become more prominent. The more I do actual full-length deep dive readings for people, I'm starting to see this concept of actually having specific cards which represent dead stop to me. So the first one, it's kind of the dumbest, to be honest, and it seems like it's more of a mental thing to me, but this is always a card of stop to me. And I'm going to tell you why, but you need to look at the whole suit here to see what I mean. So these cards specifically in the Pentacle suit, the Ace, the 4, the 7, and the Knight, these have always represented stop to me. And this, I'll admit, 2 of them are more of a stop energy to me than the other 2, because even, again, something like this, there is still movement. But this is an actual pause to me. This is, I'm pausing to hold on to whatever it is, right? My assets, my past, my memories, whatever this person is holding on to, they're actually stopped for a minute. They grounded, they put both feet on the floor, they're holding on for dear life. They are completely stopped. This one as well, this is stop and take stock, right? This is watching your seeds grow. And literally, as somebody who has been growing so many plants as of the past couple of years, I know this all too well. This is a real concept of plant the seeds and wait. Water it and wait. Watch it and wait. And although there is movement in the planting and the watering, I understand that there is always waiting. There is always pausing. There is moments in which you are sitting there looking at your plants, taking stock and actually inspecting them for, root growth, leaf growth, things like that, diseases, bugs. You have to stop and actually look at the plants, and you actually need to spend time with them, and you actually need to create relationships with those plants. So that's why these to me specifically represent that paused energy. Now, when it comes to the Ace and the Knight, the way that I feel about these is that these are more of a divine stop than something such as the 4 or the 7. The 4 and the 7, these are everyday things. This is something that we do. We're moving through life. We're going about our routines. And these are just stops that happen along the way. These ones to me feel more divine. I understand these are minors. These still have free will in play. However, when it comes to your Ace of Pentacles, not only does it look like a stop sign, because yes, I'm a child, but it's literally the divine is handing you a gift, but you gotta wait for it. Whatever you're doing right now, it's gonna come to you in divine timing, but whether that be moving or not moving, it's kind of a Schrodinger's cat, like this is coming, you'll never know when. It'll get there when it's supposed to get there, so you wait. You're going to be mentally waiting in the back of your head until either you decide to do something or something is done to you, which will elicit movement, right? So this as a concept to me is, again, just stop. The Knight of Pentacles has always been a stop to me because the 4 feet of the horse are on the ground. Now, this depends on the deck, right? In the Rider-Waite deck, yes, all 4 feet are on the ground. In the Light Seers, the man is walking the horse. There's actual movement in that deck, but in this deck, there is none. So again, this one depends on the deck itself. So in the Wands suit, I only have 2 which represent wait to me, wait and stop. This is the 2 of Wands and the 10 of Wands. Can be argued the 3 of Wands is also a waiting card, but the reason that I don't see the 3 of Wands as a waiting card is because the ships are coming in. That person sees the ships coming in. They are moving there in anticipation of the ships coming in. That person has moved there. They're sitting there wrong card, right? 2, he's holding the ball. I never know which one's holding the ball because it's the same card. It's literally the same image. But in the 3, there's more planning, there's more movement, there's anticipation that lies within the 3 of Wands. In the 2 of Wands, there's no anticipation. This is solely planning. This is solely sitting here waiting, right? Yeah, there's movement. Which of these wands am I going to take? But in the meantime, he's sitting there while he's trying to figure it out. Same thing as the girl in the Light Seers with the 2 of Wands. She's sitting on the floor. Yeah, she's holding one. But, eventually she's going to start to get antsy and move into the 3 of Wands, right? So this one is kind of a weak argument for a waiting energy, but I'll take it because it does give me the energy of waiting in a reading, right? Now, when it comes to the swords, this, ironically, has the most stopped energy to me. And I think you guys know what I'm going to say here when it comes to the swords, because this is easy. This is the easiest energy of waiting you'll ever see. 4 of Swords, 8 of Swords, 9 of Swords, 10 of Swords. Let me explain. So the 4 of Swords, clearly, it's a dude sleeping in a coffin on a bed, right? It's a cathedral. It's talking about resting. It's talking about resting. This is literally everyone's card of stop and rest. Go take a break. Go check in with yourself, right? Take a rest. Take a look at your healing, right? This is everyone's card of literally slow down, take a break, go heal. So this one is honestly like, I feel like if you were to ask somebody, what card in the tarot do you think of when you think of the concept waiting? I feel like 90% of people are going to say 4 of Swords. However, when you dig a little deeper into the swords, which again, I say ironic because swords have so much movement, right? Swords represent air, which is also communication and thoughts. Your thoughts and your communication never cease. Even if your communication ceases, your thought doesn't, which is why this is so interesting to me that these represent weight to me, right? This is solely going off of energy, not just concept. These are also energetically how I feel the tarot gives me stop signs in a reading. So the 9 of Swords, the 10 of Swords, the 8 of Swords, sorry I put that backwards. The 8 of Swords, this is imposed stop, right? This is, I put myself here. I don't want to do something. I don't want to look at something. I don't want to think about something. I just want to vibe. I mean, this is depressing vibage, but she's vibing, right? That's what she's doing. She put herself there in order to fucking marinate in her bad feelings, I guess. Nine of Swords, again, same concept. However, it does depend to me on the reading, the context of the reading, the energy of the reading. Because some people will quite literally be kept up at night, sitting in bed, right? Thoughts are racing too much to go to sleep, but there is still the sense of stillness. This is overthinking without any type of anxious action. Sometimes there feels to be more of an energy of anxious, like anxiety pacing when it comes to this card. This is sometimes to me dead stop, paralyzed in thought, or anxious pacing, drinking, freaking out, throwing things, breaking things, right? This depends again on the context of the energy of the reading to me. So when it comes to the Ten of Swords, I think you can see why I say that this one is just one of those implicit stops in the tarot, because he dead, right? He can't get more dead than that. Sorry, Daddy YouTube probably not gonna like that word, but I mean, you can't get more done than that, right? He's got 10 skewers in him. He's not going anywhere. He's not getting back up. He would have been done with 2 skewers, maybe 1 if it was in the right spot. But that one is also just done so, because in this instance, when you get to the 10, whether it be the 10 of Wands or the 10 of Swords, this is just too much. This is overwhelming, and this has to reset. So although it is the completion and it's kind of a stop and a look back on the whole journey, right? It's also moving forward toward divine intervention of an ace, because this can't go anywhere, right? This is done, done, done. You're not getting up off the floor. You need the helping hand of the skies to come down and lift you up off the floor at this point. So although there is movement from some kind of external force, I don't feel there is movement from the force of the person, the querent, the person that is being read for, right? Now when it comes to our majors, this is a little bit different as far as the concept of waiting, because as you guys know, the minors represent free will, the majors represent divine intervention, right? So these are like big concepts, right? This is about, you know, fate and the universe and the divine and spirit and everything. These are all like huge, giant like tropes, right? So in order to see the Hermit in a reading, this will most oftentimes be telling you that either the person you're reading for is in a state of reflection or they are in need of some reflection, right? The Hermit is a very famous card of chill. Don't do anything. Chill. You need to take some time off. You need to reflect. You need to go inside your head. You need to do some shadow work, right? You just need to sit with yourself. You need to find your spark, right? And yeah, he's got his little staff, and he, of course, again, it depends on which deck there is movement, right? So this is, I love to talk about stuff like this because it brings up the argument of different deck images and different intentions behind different decks, right? Oh, bread and butter over here. Then you have the Hanged Man, which is the good old story. Actually, good old stories, right? You got one alternative of Odin in the tree, then you got the other alternative of hanging traitors. But regardless, the Hanged Man for everyone is change in perspective, right? I'm sorry, I know you guys see me shaking. I just do that. I promise I ate today. This is often a card of you need to put yourself up here. However, again, in other decks, there's going to be forces trying to chew at the thing, right? There's people taking them off of this thing. There's them avidly trying to wiggle around. It, again, depends on the deck. But this is one of those universal symbols of you need to take a break, my love. And Temperance is a hard argument as far as waiting. I only threw temperance in there because it's one of those ones that a lot of people will think of when you ask about waiting in the tarot, because temperance represents patience. Temperance is also representative of that middle path in Buddhism, right? So this is kind of like a calm your mind type of energy to me. This is the only time you'll see cups and water involved in this argument here as far as waiting, because in my mind, water is movement. In the tarot, emotions are always flowing, right? I cannot see a single cups card which is representative of waiting or paused action to me, other than like the 4 of cups. Even the 5 of cups to me is still movement. It's still something, right? It's kicking around cups and looking at them. But like this one, this is more of a concept of waiting. So that's why I kind of wanted to save this one for last, because if I were to tell you like, oh, it's just your major card which represents waiting, that's it, goodbye, everybody would leave, right? But temperance is the concept itself of patience. This is telling you that even your guides are saying you need to slow down. You need to slow down, you need to put yourself in a different headspace, you need to ground, you need to take stock of your items. And I feel like the concept of waiting in tarot, to me, has all of a sudden just decided to jump out at me. And it's just one of those things that we don't talk about in tarot reading as being super important. Everybody wants to skip over the waiting because they want to get to the good stuff. They want to get to who's cheating or what's he doing or who's he seeing and all this stupid stuff that has nothing to do with tarot and self-reflection and growth, right? They want to see the juicy stuff. Oh, what, stupid questions that arise in tarot sometimes. And I have to remind new clients all the time, tarot is not about any of that. Tarot is about self-reflection and growth and healing. And if you don't think you're ready to hear that message, probably take a break and come back to tarot, right? If you're not in a mature enough place to handle these messages and take them constructively and actually do something with them as far as changing and growing, probably just don't. I don't know what to tell you. But this is one of those concepts that comes up time and time again in life, everyday life. We are just filled with waiting, right? Waiting in line, waiting on the phone, waiting at the stoplight. Like, waiting is such a big thing, and none of us know why waiting is important, and we try to just not be bored while we're waiting, right? But I would love to argue the fact that waiting and being bored is so important to not only your relationship with yourself, but your relationship with spirit. Because when you're sitting there just being bored out of your mind, what do you start doing? You start overthinking, right? And most people hate that feeling of overthinking. They want to run away. They want to stop thinking, put on some music, put on a TV show, put on something. Oh my God, I'm thinking. But in that moment, that's where you're going to find the most beneficial stuff, because this is where your mind is going over things that you've been pushing off, and your brain's going to tell you, girl, we need to deal with this. I'm trying to make room for all these new manifestations that you're telling me we're going to bring in. So we got to clear out the attic a little bit. We got to get rid of some junk, right? There's too much cobwebs. There's too much sentiment over here. We got to get rid of some things. So the next time you guys see a waiting card in your tarot reading, I want you to appreciate it a little bit and literally pause and take a moment with that card. Don't just go, oh, that's boring, and skip over it. And where's my major card, right? Where's the juicy stuff? Where's my lovers? Where's my devil? Where's my, right? I want you to remember that that card is just as important as any other card in that deck, and it's there for a reason. It serves a purpose, and it has a message. And if you're one of those readers that glosses over the boring cards and gets to the juicy cards, and you're not spending enough time analyzing the energy of the waiting cards, I need you to understand the whole the dichotomy of waiting and movement, right? It's just as important as anything else. Yin and yang, black and white, feminine and masculine. these concepts are just as important to balance each other out. And without waiting and dead stops in the tarot, we would not have the movement that everyone is so fond of, right? And literally, we can see this in the winter months. Like, if you guys watch tarot readings as avidly as I do, you'll see a pattern in the winter months. Everybody's waiting. Everybody's at a dead stop because that's shadow time, because that's when the whole everything is in healing mode. That's when it's time for rest and healing and shadow work. And that's when you're going to start to see the pattern of these cards emerge the most. So if you're one of those readers that barely reads for yourself, maybe you should do it more and start to look for the patterns in the times of the year. I know those of you guys who are actually like into astrology and stuff like that, you're gonna be like, girl, we've been done telling you this for how long? Like, yes, I know. I'm not there yet, honey. I don't know anything about astrology. I do understand that the seasons and the movements of the stars, these are all important, and I'm starting to learn this now, 6-7 years into reading tarot. But like, I'll get there, I promise. But I just wanted to bring this to the attention of the beginners, or even the novices, right? The people who've been dipping their toes in tarot. You have a couple tarot decks, you know how to read for yourself, you've been reading for your friends and family, right? You're already well familiar, versed with your tarot deck, but you haven't started doing too many readings yet. I need you guys to understand that waiting and boring cards are just as important, if not more exciting, than the big exciting cards, right? I know that everybody loves to see them majors, but you have to understand, if it was not an important concept, it would not also be reflected in the majors as it is. So everything that's in the tarot is important. They wouldn't put it there if it wasn't. So whenever I see tarot readers glossing over cards because they're like, oh, that's boring, or oh, I don't want to hear that, it stresses me out a little bit, because you're keeping your client from more pertinent information. Again, not everybody reads 2-hour tarot readings like I do. I'm the only person I know that does super extensive readings. Outside of Sassy Scorpion Tarot, I love watching her because she'll ramble for 2 hours in a reading easy, and it makes me feel so comforted that I'm not the only one that does that. But all of that was super long-winded. This is just supposed to be a let's discuss video, because I really, really love when you guys get engaged in the comments and start talking about these things and your experiences and stuff like that, because I know not everyone who follows me on YouTube follows me on other things, right? And clearly not everyone who follows me on TikTok follows me on YouTube. So you guys see a different side of me here than other apps do. I feel like every app gets a little different version of me, right? Like a little different type of spice in there. And I post a lot more engaging, like, card discussions now on Instagram, and I try my best to start incorporating them in TikTok, right? I just want to get more engaged with the tarot with you guys, because I have an absolutely beautiful relationship with tarot, and I'm still blown away every single time I get a new tarot deck, because every single tarot deck is still different to me. I thought at some point they would all just become divination tools and I wouldn't see personalities anymore, I wouldn't see quirks, but I still do. And like, tarot is just such a beautiful relationship. For those of you guys that are actually trying to avidly pursue it, and you know genuinely, like, this is a long game, honey. This is a long-term contract that you signed here. Be patient with tarot. Be patient with yourself, because the longer you read tarot, the more you read for yourself, the more you read for clients, the more you just bond with your decks, the more you just play with them, the more you are gonna start to see that these things that you never saw as important in the tarot are actually very important. I feel like this argument can be made about any card, even minor cards, like the Four of Swords has started to get its moment, but like, not too many people really give a hoot and holler about the minors, and I feel like we need to change that. We need to start talking about the importance of each card. And the longer that I'm on Instagram and I see the community of tarot readers on there that actually take the time to discuss what each card means to them, as opposed to what this card means, it's starting to really help me appreciate my relationship with tarot more, and I'm really starting to want to get engaged again on YouTube. I'm starting to find my little spark again. So, I mean, I guess it it didn't come with the spring solstice, it came with the summer solstice, but at least we're here, honey. I got there eventually. So if you guys are not already following me on any of my other socials, what are you doing? Please go do so. I am most active on TikTok, followed by Instagram. I do not touch Facebook or Twitter, to be completely honest. I do feel bad, but I have a little Facebook group if you guys want to join that, and you guys can all be there for each other with tarot questions and whatnot. That's what I made it for. I just myself am not super engaged in it which is not helpful as a Facebook group, right? If you guys have not already checked out my shop, please go do so, because there's only about a week left in June. You guys already know for the month of June, H&M said they were going to double every dollar that was donated to the Trevor Project. And I do have Pride tarot bags in my shop. I always have, I always will. 100% of the proceeds go directly to the Trevor Project. I pay the fees out of my pocket so that nothing gets taken from you. So literally you are just doing a donation to the Trevor Project, and I give you a little tarot bag to say thank you. And I do send you a receipt with your name and information from the donation of the Trevor Project and everything. So I'm trying to take some money out of H&M's pocket and give it to the Trevor Project, because it's a very, very important organization. I'm so grateful that they exist. They helped me out when I was a wee bab. So I'm gonna do everything that I can to donate to the Trevor Project with my little shop, whatever I can manage to scrape up for you guys. So with that being said, my friends, please, please, please get engaged in the comments. That's the point of Let's Discuss videos. I want you guys to discuss with each other, discuss with me, your thoughts on these cards, your thoughts on other cards that you think are waiting in the tarot, whatever you can do, please, 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 because everything you guys do literally gives me so much content. I kid you not, from all of these comments, all the ideas you give me, all the questions you ask me, everything. Like, we built this channel together, honey, and we are over 2,000 strong. So thank you so, so, so very much to all of you. You guys mean the entire world to me. And that's all I got for you today, my friends. I really hope that wherever you are when this video reaches you, you have a beautiful, wonderful day, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Blessed be.